Put simply, Porretto Beach, located on Galveston Island, is a historic, multi-generational, family-owned beach and business since the 1950s. However, beneath the surface, the essence of Porretto Beach is so much more. Porretto Beach is the last privately owned beach in the state of Texas. The beaches in Galveston used to be predominantly held in the hands of local families, but over the years, more and more land has become the possession of the state of Texas for a multitude of reasons. To understand how we got where we are today, you have to start at the beginning. And the story of Porretto Beach begins with the life of Henry Porretto Sr., born August 23, 1905, on Galveston Island to Italian immigrants Francis Carola Porretto of Messina, Italy, and Dominic Porretto of Palermo, Italy. Both of their Italian hometowns were coastal port cities, making Galveston an idyllic and familiar resemblance to their former lives as they settled into America. At the time of Henry's birth, Galveston was facing the aftermath of the Great 1900 Storm, the deadliest natural disaster in the history of the United States. In fact, he was born only a short few months prior to the first section of the original seawall construction being completed. Henry was one of 9 children born to the Porretto family: Anthony, Frank, Rosario, Salvador, Joseph, Angelina, and Josephine. Tragically, Josephine fell victim to the Great Storm of 1900, where she was later recovered in a tree. The discovery of her body was a terrible blow to the family, as the story of the search for her among the wreckage has passed down for generations still. Henry's father, Dominic, owned a grocery business which during this time period was no small feat. His father instilled the value of hard work at an early age, as he would often assist with selling ice via a horse and carriage requiring great strength and quickness to be effective. During the 1920s, Henry was highly sought after by semi-professional football teams for the athletic talent evident in his size, speed, and strength, which was often highlighted in the newspapers of the day. He played for these teams such as the Big Hurricanes, the Coca-Colas, the Dr. Peppers, and as his skill rose from increased level of play, he quickly became a weekly feature in newspapers, garnering national attention from various colleges and professional football teams. One particular award came in the form of an iconic trophy presented as a full-size sterling silver football edged with his accolades. Despite the tragic natural disasters and decades between his award and today, the Porretto family still possessed this unique family treasure. He was also honored with Most Valuable Lineman trophy as the athlete they nicknamed Iceman, a nod to his humble beginnings delivering ice with his father. Henry went on to serve in the United States Navy, and upon his return home married Rose Schumann, the daughter of a Jewish immigrant family who escaped Russia during the Bolshevik Revolution, leaving behind a prolific jewelry business. Together they had one son, Henry Porretto Jr., in 1928. True partners in life, the couple set out to solidify their business endeavors together to provide for their family. Values Henry Sr.'s own father instilled in him through their business, he would now carry on with his own son in the years that follow. Henry Sr. would later establish himself as a successful businessman and oilman. He poured his earnings into oil drilling investments across Texas, eventually attracting the interest of his friends, Galveston brothers Johnny and George Mitchell, now arguably the most renowned Texas oilmen. Henry was an original investor in Mitchell Energy Company, which would go on to revolutionize the oil industry with its development of hydraulic fracking processes. After establishing a reputation of trust overseeing several oil ventures, he eventually became the owner and president of Oil Operations Corps. In addition to the Mitchells, Henry maintained business and personal relationships with the famed Maceo family involved in gambling at the iconic Balinese Room. He was entrusted by the Maceo family to manage their oil interests amongst other business endeavors. Henry was an avid hunter and often hunted with Texas Governor of the time, Coke Stevenson's, at the Stevenson's Ranch. Many stories from their hunting trips were reported in the local newspapers, true to his nature, and many of these stories are still told around Galveston today. And from the newspaper reports, they certainly never were boring. In 1957, the Texas Rangers stormed the Balinese Room and put an end to its existence. The city of Galveston immediately began to feel the financial effects once gaming was outlawed, and the fame of Galveston changed forever. The local government became less self-sustaining and populations dwindled within the city as jobs and industry faltered. Cognizant of the change of the times and shift in the island's tourism and economy after gaming, Henry Sr. began a campaign to develop a new tourism plan to ensure the survival of his beloved hometown. Henry Sr. was not only passionate about his hometown, but he believed in the importance of giving back to your community. He was appointed to serve on the Stewart Beach Park Board of Managers, amongst other endeavors to promote tourism of all city businesses and attractions. As a result of the economic downturn, the Galveston Independent School District began to liquidate their properties to raise funds for the school year. One in particular, especially unique and rare opportunity to auction, was near one of the Porretto's businesses they built together. In the 1940s and 50s, Rose and Henry Porretto established ownership and operated the Playground Courts Motel and Coffee Shop. Towards the end of the 1950s, the Porrettos expanded to acquire the nearby Queens Courts and renamed it as an extension of the Playground Courts Motel. Across the street from the seawall establishment was the Galveston County Children's Playground that existed on the sand. This is the land which became the first step towards the formulation of Porretto Beach as it exists today. Henry Sr. purchased the beachfront property along 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Street to offer their hotel patrons further amenities with on-the-sand parking and rentals, such as floats, umbrellas, chairs, and other water activities. In the decades that followed, Henry Porretto Sr. would slowly acquire the surrounding beach and sand properties to establish what would be at the time 27 acres of beach and entitled it Porretto Beach. Henry Porretto Jr. would operate the beach business until his eventual ownership began after his parents' passing. However, this is still only the beginning of the story of Porretto Beach.